What is up, GLE Network? Phil here, another episode of the Go Lead Everything podcast. I am pumped today to have a guest I've been trying to get on for quite a while, and she is an absolute rock star with some really fantastic insights into the fashion world, into how to personal brand, social media, dress for success, the power of first impressions. And she, in her social media content, if you follow her, you can find her on LinkedIn. She's on Instagram. She's just killing it, and her content's rocking. And she's helping a ton of men and women and busy executives just absolutely look their best. And I'm thrilled to talk fashion with her today. Sterling Woerner, welcome to GLE.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for bearing with my schedule and having me on.
100%. I'm glad you can make it. And, most people that know me know that I like to dress up, and I've taken a lot of comments over the years about why you always so dressed up, Phil, and why you always putting on a jacket. I've always been kind of the sport coat, boots, and jeans guys, and my wife has me branching into like fashion sneakers and stuff that I would have tried before, but they're way more comfortable than cowboy boots. But I'm passionate about it. It's a topic I'm passionate about, so I'm thrilled to bring you on and sort of hear your perspective on it. So before we dive into that, I know you have a pretty cool story on how you got to Tom James and what you're doing today. So maybe give us the 360 of Sterling Woerner before we get rolling.
Cool. So I am from a super small town south of San Antonio called Pleasanton. To be honest, I always tell this story as I didn't even know that my job was a job or career path or profession growing up. I'm a clothier, so I help busy men and women curate wardrobes for their lifestyles. So whether it be business casual with every now and again suits and whatnot, to I do custom t-shirts and custom shorts, which I sold a bunch today. So I grew up in a small town. I am the daughter of a principal. My mom was a principal. My dad was, I call him a serial entrepreneur who's always making money doing something. And so I got my work ethic from both of them. And I went to school at A&M. I studied marketing and sales. And I knew I wanted to do something outside sales. I was actually the president of the sales organization at A&M at the time. It was called Pi Sigma Epsilon. And so I was the girl that was responsible for getting other people in the organization sales jobs. And I was only going to, apply and try to get one job, and that was going to be medical device sales. And I went through the whole interview process, and I got denied. And I remember thinking, how did they just deny the president of the sales organization the sales job? And so I went back to the drawing board, and I thought, okay, well, what is both 100% commission, something I could really grow my business and work hard, because I knew I was an above average worker, and I wanted a sexy product. I didn't want to go sell chip displays, at PepsiCo, or I don't want to go whatever they're selling, insurance, things like that. And I said, okay, well, this suit gig, at least it'll be a great networking opportunity. I've always been a people person. I love to meet people, I love to network. I said, okay, well, this job is 100% commission, so I know I can work harder than most people. The demographic that I'm selling to are the people that I need to be rubbing elbows with anyways to set me up for future success. And so I'll go in there, network, find a better job in a few years. And then it has just become, I call it my lucrative hobby. I'm obsessed with my job. I'm obsessed with growing my brand. I'm obsessed with my clients. And I feel like all day long, I get to just hang out with my best friends. And, life is about the nuggets you get from other people and how you can apply them to your life. And I feel like I am so blessed to be surrounded by the most successful, insightful people that have failed and succeeded more than most people will ever, and just get to grow from that.
Very cool. You said your dad was a serial entrepreneur. What kind of stuff was he into?
I've seen that man sell everything. So it's funny because I was going through the interview process trying to get into college or get in the process of getting into college. And I'm like, and it was, my dad worked for MI Swaco at the time as a mud engineer. So he he had his own businesses, all me growing up. And then he always had his side hustles and his passion projects and everything from selling four-wheelers he would build at the local flea markets to running his full-time business Monday through Saturday, which was actually telecommunications. So cell phones and pagers back in the day. But when that kind of market crashed, he went into oil and gas because I was from San Antonio and he had a good opportunity to go make a lot of money selling mud, essentially, and mud product. So I was in my scholarship interview with his company. And I was like, yeah, I get my sales ability from my dad. He could literally sell dirt. And they were like, well, that's what he does. So let's hope so.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just always doing something. He's a big flipper, likes to buy things, flip them, buy businesses, flip them. So I've always had a good kind of background of that entrepreneurial side and that hustler and, growing up.
Yeah, super cool. Well, y'all, if you're not following Sterling, you need to be. So if you're on LinkedIn, you're a professional networker, using the LinkedIn platform, find her at Sterling Woerner, SterlingWoerner. And you can also find her on Instagram at Sterling Sells Suits. And I got to tell you, Sterling, like your content, even since I met you, your content has just done nothing but step its game up. Every post I see, like it's looking really cool.
Well, and so with my company, there was a big shift. I always, we coined the term paradigm shifts often in our career, just because my company is very forward-minded and focused on personal development as well as career and financial and things like that. Yeah. And one of my big goals for 2021 was to qualify for this program called the Car and Driver. And so it's essentially where my company gives me an allotment every month to pay for a full-time driver, as well as all the expenses for the vehicle, the gas, et cetera. And so because I've had so much more free time in my head, emotional free time and intellectual free time, because I'm not on the road driving 8 hours a day seeing clients, I've been able to really expand into the creativity of like branding, networking, partnering with all different kind of businesses around town. And so it's been really cool to see how you can switch gears with your mentality and your mindset and put it into something else to help grow your business.
That's awesome. So one of my favorite TV shows, many people probably know this about me too, is the show Suits. And I'm I always love just like the whole idea of having a personal driver. I know it may sound snobby, but it's got to be amazing.
Yeah, everyone laughs at me, all my friends, because I'm the first. Well, I'm not the first person, but I'll be the person to be like, "Oh, my driver can pick us up," and they're like, "Sterling, you can't casually just say your driver will come pick you up when we're going to the bars on 19th Street."
Right.
But it is the biggest blessing, and it's like I don't think I could ever not have a driver at this point. Like I'm a lifer at Tom James because they've sweetened the pot so much to where I get to spend all day hanging out with my clients, selling clothing, making people look good and feel good, and I get to be driven around in the process.
Yeah, it's super cool. Great point too for the entrepreneurs. We're always thinking about, what can we hire out? And many people don't think about how much time they spend driving, just something as simple as that. So, if you haven't thought about it, it's another thing that can be hired out.
That was the biggest pivot in my career so far in my career, where I really I was always on a path of kind of trailblazing for the company as far as breaking records and things like that. But it wasn't until I said, I'm going to outsource everything that does not directly make me money. That's whenever my business grew to the next level. So much to the fact where I hire my sister who lives down the street to pick up and take my dog to daycare every day for me, because it's time I don't want to spend sitting in traffic and whatever it may be, that I can be more productive and creative in areas that are building my business and making me money.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, if that's the goal, then you're doing it right, Sterling. You're doing it right. And it's impressive. So let's touch on sort of mentality for, looking good. Lots of people maybe come from a background where perhaps in their families they heard stuff like, it doesn't matter. You don't judge a book by its cover. They think it's superficial, sort of, you're putting a suit on a turd, right? And trying to it's almost like people think it's fake to dress up and look good. So give us some good mindset and perspective on the power and why it's so important. Why is it so important to you?
So I think there's several players, and you can go back and you can do the statistics and you could do the research about how putting on a suit makes you perform better and this, that, and the other. And yes, all of that is true. I think we all hit that lull in the middle of the pandemic where we're like, okay, we're not seeing clients, we're not seeing people. I'm going to do the whole dress from the waist up because I can get by. But that mentality almost absorbed people's work mentality as well. And this is just a trend that after talking with several of my clients and talking about business left and right, and the transition from pandemic business and post-pandemic business, one of my big revelations through all this was the people that grinded through the pandemic and still put the right clothing on and still went into the office or still got dressed to work from home. Those are the people that are leaps and bounds hitting their goals this year. They've almost come back tenfold, myself included. I would put on a full suit to sit behind a Zoom call and hopefully sell some shirts over the course of the day. And that was my win.
Yeah.
Every single day I got up, did my hair, did my makeup, put on a suit, because it puts you back in the mindset of, I'm here to make an impression. I'm here to look the part. A lot of what my job is, I can't go and recommend someone to invest $2,500 in a suit of this super fine merino wool blended with silk and cashmere that's expertly handcrafted and made in the States if I'm wearing yoga pants, I haven't done my hair and makeup in 3 days. And so I always said, and I tell this to my clients, just because you don't have to doesn't mean you shouldn't. And people will always treat you better when you're dressed better. So, and I still have that conversation with people all the time. Well, I'm the boss. I don't have to. I'm like Steve Jobs. I'm just wearing a t-shirt and jeans. That's where I come in and say, okay, you can be like Steve Jobs and you can outsource your clothing and give it to me and let me be responsible for making sure you look the part for your job. So, I think there are a bunch of different takes on how you can look at it, but the people that continue to dress up during the pandemic, and I can say this from a bird's eye view, looking back and looking at all my clients and their success since we've kind of let up, is those that are absolutely crushing it and killing it and taking their business to the next level are the ones that continue to dress up and show up every single day. So
I love it. That's right on. Coming from an athletics background, right? Like I played a little baseball in college, and lots of the baseball guys can be a little prima donna. And, they got their chains and they got their wristbands and their hat's got to be perfect and clean and all this stuff. And then you got kind of the opposite spectrum of that. You got kind of these rugged bad boys who don't worry about any of that stuff. But there's something to the whole uniform mentality, and I'm putting on my uniform to go do a job, and it stems back from the military days, and I think that's some of the history with some of the traditional fashion, even is military uniforms, and I think putting on those types of clothing do really have an aspect that affects your mentality, and 100% people treat you better when you dress up. I know, being somebody that has done a lot of traveling in my day, I started just wearing, just throwing on a sport coat when I'm flying, and being one of those people that doesn't wear my pajamas on the airplane. And,
exactly.
You get treated so much better when you do that.
Exactly.
Night and day better.
Yeah. And now it's great because we have fabrics that they're your travel fabrics. They have stretch, they don't wrinkle. You can be just as comfortable in a suit as you would in something that is not a suit. And I know personally from experience, it's, when I would get on an airplane and if I was going on vacation, non-work related, and I was wearing even the cutest athleisure outfit that could cost an arm and a leg, it still did not compare to the level I was treated both in and out of security, getting upgraded for free because I was in a suit compared to everyone else, to first class, to where now I have this vision of who I want to be and who I want to be to other people. And that is what every single day determines how I dress and the image that I bring to the table. So I think, your image is so much more than just your physical appearance.
Yeah.
Obviously that's the first and most important thing, but it's also how you carry yourself. And I think dressing the part helps you carry yourself in a more confident way that translates into how people treat you.
Sterling, I love your comment, who you want to be to other people. And that's something I think people miss when it comes to fashion very often, is that how you dress really shows what you think of the people you're around and the 100%. Level of respect you have for them. Isn't that right?
100%. And To me, I think there's a lot of confusion these days as well. Like I'm actually spending a lot more time going back in and re-explaining and recreating and going back to the drawing board with a lot of my clients who were so suit, shirt, and tie for so many years. And now it's, fashions change, and now it's more dress for your day, but there is a uniform way to do that. There's a strategic way to build a wardrobe so that you can do that without a lot of thought. And I always tell people that, you're not always dressing up for you or your significant other. You're dressing up for the people in the room who are associated with you or that can be associated with you one day. So,
Yeah, 100%. So I'm a guy, obviously, and a lot of people that listen to GLE are men as well. So I'm going to start out with some kind of men fashion questions that I have.
Bring them on.
So what can, like you obviously work with tons of individuals. What do you see most that men are missing maybe in their wardrobe or maybe small sorts of types of changes? I know I'm kind of diving into specifics here right off the gate, but what are the 1, 2, 3 tips that you see where men could really step their game up with small incremental changes to their wardrobe?
Right. So before pandemic and now, I feel like it's changed a lot. So I'm going to keep it relevant with today's times. The thing that everybody is getting these days is your social suit. So there are less extremely business formal meetings, less suit, shirt, tie occasions, a little bit more friendly or open-ended, if you will. So instead of going the uber conservative 3-piece navy suit with a white shirt and a tie, there is something called that social suit. So it's something you'd wear open collar. It's a friendlier shade of blue. It's something that could be both for a nice dinner meeting to a boardroom meeting to a luncheon to maybe keep the jacket on and pair it with jeans. So having the versatile piece that can be applicable for just about any occasion. And I'll tell guys left and right, although I love nice things and I love putting nice things in my guys' closet, I'm a minimalist for my clients. Most of my guys don't need a walk-in closet full of suits anymore. And that's where I tell guys too, there is a benefit of going custom. You need less pieces at a higher caliber and higher quality. Then I'll teach you how to be versatile with them. So it's all about minimalism, but also like being really sharp and strategic with the pieces you're putting in your wardrobe so you can switch between whatever events you have going on in your life.
Yeah. 100%.
So the social suit, to circle back, social suit, everyone's getting one of those.
Sure.
And simply all that means is a friendlier, brighter shade of blue, maybe with a little pattern, but more texture than anything, and keeping it really nice. And I would say, do you want to look rich or bold? The bold suit stands out. The rich suit just brings a level of sophistication and confidence to the room. Okay.
So what if I'm somebody in like a business casual sort of work scenario and I'm wearing my khakis and my polo. That's kind of my go-to. Like, what would you say if maybe you're in an environment where like throwing on a sport coat is going to really make you stand out? Would you still maybe do something like that? Or what?
I would. And I always say, like, if you're the person who, we actually now have these jackets, they're called like deconstructed or casual jackets. Throughout the pandemic, we launched an entire line of custom comfort. So all that means is stretch, flexibility, travels well, low maintenance. And this is for the guy that doesn't need a whole lot, but needs maybe that one great blazer to keep hanging in his truck so he can put it over his polo and his jeans or his 5-pocket pants or chinos.
Sure.
So I would say keep it minimal with those. When you're not wearing things as often, keep whatever you have simple, because you don't want to be the same guy in the bright, bold window pane blazer everywhere you go.
Right.
So don't be remembered by the pattern, be remembered by the fit and the sophistication of everything looking the part. And you can be smart casual to business casual with a nice, proper fitting, simple blazer.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So lots of folks now these days, I mean, like the jeans and jacket sort of look has been around forever. And y'all, if you don't have stretch jeans, like stretch jeans have changed my life, Sterling.
I can attest to it. We sell custom jeans now, and that is usually my segue into a meeting. If I call someone and they're like, yeah, I'm casual. I'm like, well, do you have custom jeans yet? And then I'm like, oh, you don't? Like, we should really get involved with these custom jeans because they're amazing. And so, yes, custom jeans make up a huge part of my business, especially in Texas, where I call it like the good old boys, the jeans, the boots, and the blazers.
Yeah. So I've had some made to measure custom clothing. This jacket actually I'm wearing is a made to measure custom jacket that I've had, but I've never gone to the bespoke route. And many people maybe don't even know what bespoke means. What's the difference between bespoke and just like your made to measure custom?
So a lot of the times, one thing that's kind of interesting is this industry that I'm in is almost really unregulated. And so there's a lot of terms that are used interchangeably that mean technically very different things. We coined the term bespoke as essentially made by hand. And we have within Tom James, we have all these different levels of luxury based on the amount of hand workmanship and the cloth that goes into them. So when you go to the top, it's Oxford, which Oxford is America's last bespoke garment. It's 100% hand cut, hand stitched, made by hand in Chicago. And then anything that's not 100%, that's kind of more like your made to measure, or like we call it fully custom. So we take all of your measurements down to the 1/8 of an inch. And that is still a fully custom garment. It's not bespoke, but it is made for your body. It's not something taken off the rack and trimmed down to you. So bespoke essentially just means made by hand.
Okay. Yeah. So I know for me, being a bigger guy, always kind of a more athletic fit, finding stuff at Men's Warehouse, a lot of my stuff is still the Men's Warehouse sort of, type of off the rack, go get it tailored stuff. And the made to measure custom stuff, the fit is unbelievable. Like I don't know if guys who haven't done that understand how comfortable you can be in a jacket because they're probably used to some junk. It makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
It does. And what I tell guys a lot is buy once, cry once, but you'll have it and you'll love it for a long time. And it's one of those things where, okay, go get something off the rack. And I say I sell clothing, but I'm in the business of convenience. I sell your time back to you. And being someone who operates at 100% commission, there is nothing more valuable than time. Being someone that runs a business essentially by myself, there are so many things I would do and would pay for if it saved me incremental time here and there. And so, yes, I sell super high quality, beautifully tailored custom garments. But the amount of time I save guys when they've invested maybe $1,000 into a suit today, but then get to reap the benefits of the relationship we then have for I've been doing this for 5 years. 5 years of, think about how much time you would save if you never had to go back to the mall. Think about how much time you would save if you never had to go to a tailor shop to get your stuff altered after spending money at the mall.
Right.
Think about all the time that you break a button off or bust a hem or rip your pants or whatever it may be that you then have to go get it fixed at a tailoring shop. Those are all a part of the service that is included when you purchase something from me. Yeah.
Wow.
So I say my job is, or my role with guys and women is not transactional. It's very much a relationship we build to where I have guys that say, hey, Sterling, I ripped my pants today. Can you come pick them up and fix them? I say, yep, I will send my assistant. We'll have them in the tailor shop today and we'll bring it back to you next week. So the convenience of and the comfort of shopping from your home or your office, but then having that person that handles all of your wardrobe related needs or issues or problems, that's what saves guys time in the long run.
That's awesome. I didn't know y'all did all that. That's super cool. We were talking a little bit about, the pandemic and people either maybe, kind of got undisciplined maybe or got extremely disciplined and really stepped their game up. And I was one of those kind of in the beginning of the pandemic where I kind of let myself go a little bit and, some of my clothes stopped fitting and I had to go get some fat clothes and, now I'm kind of tailoring back, but, is that something y'all do even cause I know fit for me is most people don't understand how important just having good fitting clothing. It doesn't even have to be expensive clothing, but if your clothing fits, it makes all the difference in the world. Do y'all do that? If my fit were to change, you would come and retailer all that stuff?
I have clients who I call them yo-yos and moving targets where they're like, Sterling, I gained 30 pounds. Sterling, I lost 30 pounds. Sterling, I'm back up 30 pounds again. And so we service the clothing for the life of it. So it is very regular that I get a call and says, hey, can you help me? I need some tailoring on the clothing I bought from you a year ago. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's make an appointment. I'll see you at your office on Tuesday. So it's very much with clothing, number one, you get what you pay for as far as the quality of the clothing itself, but you're investing in the service that saves you time. And that's my biggest selling point these days, because no one has time.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. What are some things you see men doing in their fashion world that are just absolute no-nos? Like, are there small little things that you see guys doing where you're like, that piece should not be ever in your closet again? Throw it away.
I think as a clothier, we all have our little like ticks that like we see and it just drives us absolutely nuts. And my two like ticks are, maybe I could actually list off a handful. When the sleeve length is too long, like, and it's like hanging down like this, that is like something that like I will go up to a guy at a random in the hallway or in the tunnels and be like, hey, you need someone to do your clothing for you. So that's something that I can always tell if someone is not wearing custom.
Sure.
And then another thing is, guys, if you don't know this already, the difference, actually, let's ask you, do you know the difference between a blazer and a suit jacket?
The buttons.
Yes. Okay, good.
I've done a lot of research into clothing. It's like a weird hobby of mine, but yeah.
Okay, good. So a blazer, the reason we know this is a suit, but it's different for men, is these buttons are gold, they're metal, they stand out against the suit itself. Whereas if I were to buy this white suit off the rack, so are those navy?
Yeah, they're navy. This is a suit. It's a suit jacket.
So what pants are you wearing?
Dude, I'm so pandemic right now. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Are those basketball shorts?
So before the show, Sterling was like, hey, can we move this up? I was like, no, Sterling, I have an appointment. And so I'm busy. And I was getting a pedicure.
No, my gosh. Hey, I can appreciate self-care. That's fine. So yes, the buttons. Do not be the guy wearing the navy blazer with the navy buttons and the khaki pants. Like, I can see from a mile away and I don't like it. The other thing are 3-button coats. And that's when I'm like, oh, you got a 3-button coat on. We got to clean the closet out. Trying to think if there's anything else that really grinds my gears.
So 3-button coats are out.
No.
What about when they have a 3-button coat and they button all 3 buttons?
Horrible. Don't ever. There's that meme that's like, or the GIF or whatever it's called, where it's like always, sometimes, never, or always. No, it's sometimes, always, never. So never button the bottom button. I think there was like a Bachelor contestant one day that had both buttoned, and everyone in my industry, like everyone in my company was like, oh, did you see the guy with both of his buttons?
Oh my gosh. That's
I know.
Funny.
I know, it's so funny because people like socially, I wear my suits a lot, but I'm not necessarily gonna wear my suits out in a truly social setting. But everyone's like, always a little self-conscious when they have to go places with me because they're like, you're going to outdress me everywhere you go. And I'm like, no, I'm casual and I'm casual.
Right. So good. There's a couple things. So a few of mine that really helped me out. And I learned them like since I became a business professional and started looking into clothing. One was I didn't know how to lace dress shoes properly. And so when I see people with like crisscross, like basketball shoe lacing their Oxfords, their formal Oxford dress shoes, I'm just like so cringe.
That's your tick.
Grinds me. Or bacon belt, which I'm guilty of because I got fat. But do you know what bacon belt is? It's when you've gotten big and then small again. So like you can see how you've used different belt loops on your belt, and your belt's like worn out and looks like a piece of bacon.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of that. Yeah, if you know the bacon belt term, just spend $100 on a new belt.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered some dude stuff. What anything else you'd want to cover for guys?
One thing that I'm kind of like going through and making sure that most of my guys know, especially whenever I start working with a client for the first time, is that the one color I don't sell to men anymore is black. It's okay for your Mary and Barry, but a lot of guys still think that you should be wearing black suits places. But black is kind of, it's either extremely formal or it's really only for Mary and Barry. So I don't really sell black pants unless you have like a gorgeous gray blazer that just looks stunning with it. So kind of out with the black and with the blue. And then I really kind of stray away from really dark charcoals as well, kind of going more medium gray. And in case you are wondering, which probably most people know this, is first time you meet someone, your opening color should always be a blue. But yeah, these are just small things that I like to share with guys who A, don't have the time to know these things, or B, have never been interested in them. That's where I come in and I just take care of it for you.
Sure. So for guys, blue suit, absolute must. Dark navy, light navy, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And I say if you need one suit, if you're the guy that I'm in cargo shorts and flip flops and work from home, you still need at least one nice updated navy suit. And I always recommend the 3-piece, because the one time you need it, it pays for itself. But yeah, updated navy suit. And
what other colors? Say I'm a guy, I need 3 suits to put together my wardrobe. What do you
I would do 2 blues and a mid gray, because you could do your navy as you're kind of more conservative, to where you wear it to business functions, board meetings, social engagements, weddings. A mid blue is kind of your friendly blue. It's that Air Force blue, a little bit lighter in color. That's kind of your year-round casual suit. Yeah. That's the casual suit. And a lot of times I do this in a texture. So a bird's eye, a tick weave, something with a noticeable texture, so that it doesn't look extremely formal or conservative. And then the last one would be a mid-gray, something that can be worn year-round. Again, it's a little bit friendlier than your charcoal. But every guy needs at least one, but I usually put 3 suits in a guy's closet when they're not wearing suits. And when they're wearing suits regularly, that opens it up for a whole new discussion.
Yeah, for sure. I have a blue, lighter blue, sort of like you were talking about, sort of like a royal, not necessarily a royal, but a lighter blue jacket that I absolutely love. And I've actually gotten more compliments on that jacket than any other jacket. It's just a sport coat that I bought, and I get so many compliments on it. It literally blows my mind. Just because of the color. They're like, I love the color of your jacket.
And a lot of times I tell guys, like, you can drop the pattern. You don't need pattern to stand out. You can do it in color and texture. That's how you look rich, not bold. When I see the guy in the blue plaid jacket, which I sell those every day, all day long, but that is your business casual jacket. When I see the guy in something with like a nice silk hopsack blend that has a little bit more elevated texture to it, that's the guy with taste that has, the pigmentation in there that, it looks nicer versus louder, more loud, more nice, more loud.
So mixing patterns. Is that a no-no? Is it doable?
Oh, I'm the biggest fan of stripes right now. Pinstripes are making a comeback. Every single one of my clients is getting a pinstripe right now, whether you're casual or dressed up. I think there's nothing sharper than a really nice dark navy pinstripe with a subtle kind of that chalk stripe where it's not real loud or real bold, but it's really faint, and wearing that with a really nice fitting polo and being uber casual with it. It's a different level of sophistication and confidence, and it's kind of the new it piece. So that's for the guy that's extremely fashion forward. And I do all the time. I like to mix, if my guy gets a patterned sport coat, I will purposely sell them a shirt with a pattern also, so I can teach them how to mix and match things together.
Awesome.
But yeah, I like mixing patterns. General rule of thumb is I always go for more textured or smaller micro patterns versus big patterns for shirts, because it's a lot easier to pair with other jackets. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's put together, before we get off the guy topic, let's put together like one outfit. If you had to, like, your everyday guy, like smart casual type of outfit for a guy who like I could wear it to my work, because they allow jeans now, so it's a little more casual. They allow fashion sneaks and stuff like that, or I could it would be great for a Friday out to a nice dinner or whatever, because even dress codes at restaurants are pretty casual now. What would you piece together, starting from the top to the bottom, or bottom top, whatever?
So I will give you this super secret insight, as long as you don't go take it and run to Men's Warehouse with it.
Okay. I promise.
I'm just kidding. Okay. So I kind of talk in capsules or kind of like packages with my guys who they're like, hey, I'm not going to be a super regular buyer, but I haven't bought any clothing since the pandemic, and I need, a little bit of a wardrobe uplift and something that's super versatile with my lifestyle. I'm not really going out and seeing a lot of clients, but there is the occasion where I want to look nice. It would probably be a full suit outfit, a sport coat outfit, a pair of jeans, a couple of nice polos, a pair of loafers and a dress shoe and the belts that match. But for the suit, like I said, again, depending on the nature of their work, if they're in financial, if they're in kind of something more corporate America, you go darker navy. If it's, like I said, a little bit more conservative, you just want a nice going out suit. Take your wife to a nice dinner, meet a potential business partner, or whatever it may be, doing that kind of heightened blue, Air Force blue, open collar shirt. And a lot of times I say, keep it simple when you first start out. Get an updated, selection of textured whites and blues that are really easy. People like the uniform mentality. People feel good in the uniform mentality. Don't go crazy. And a lot of guys will, they come and see me and they're like, well, I already have a lot of blue in my closet. And I say, but what's the first thing you grab? Something blue. Well, it makes sense to have more options in blue, so you're not grabbing the same blue thing.
Right.
So I'll sell a guy a full wardrobe worth of blues, because that is their color, it's their confidence. And you can have a ton of different variations of it and still stay in the same color scheme and still have a lot of different uses for the pieces. So my number one go-to right now, I've got these deconstructed casual stretch blazers where if you go look on my Instagram, they're all over my Instagram, but you can literally pull them and stretch them and they go back. They never wrinkle. They always fit. They're extremely comfortable. I say it's like the Lululemon version of a blazer. Yeah. And doing that in a nice dark navy or a heightened royal French blue with a pair of dark denim and a polo is, to me, one of the nicest smart casual looks you can put together.
Nice. Very nice. Do they have, are you shoulder pads or no pads? Or are we putting
I do everything soft constructed these days because we're a little bit more casual. If someone said I need a nice 3-piece suit, beautiful, they want it to be a statement, I still kind of do a softer shoulder, but I'll keep the structure there. Whereas these stretch blazers and things like that are meant to be deconstructed. They're meant to hang and drape a little bit more casually. So yeah, I think there's a time and a place, and that's all a part of it is, I come in and I teach you how to wear your clothing too.
I love it. I love it. So switching to the ladies who may be listening, I'm seeing a lot of really good women's business attire and other things you've been posting. Obviously, you sport it all the time and are always looking good. So what do the women need to be looking at?
So, and I actually posted this today. I said, you don't have to be in a business professional setting to invest in custom for women. I kind of got put my foot in the door working with women when the pandemic happened. We relaunched our women's line, and I'm proud to say, I've got almost 50% of my business now is women.
Dang.
And I kind of got my start into that with working with the wives of all my husbands during the pandemic. When the husbands were set, I'd never spent time working with women, and I was like, I'm going to learn this craft.
Wait, how many husbands do you have?
Well, not my husbands. I'm all my work. You know what I mean. All my men. Good one. So all my husbands. But to answer your question, I have 0. Anywho.
I'm just teasing. Sorry to throw you off.
Well, that's okay. So I kind of deemed it like the wife starter pack. And it was a stretch blazer, a pair of custom jeans, and then a pattern blazer or something that was more pigmented and colored that they could wear out to fun dinners, or like a black blazer. So I started working with a lot of the wives and honestly just grew. And what I learned with working with women is women like to talk about their clothing more. They like to refer me more, and they like to buy more. Men are very analytical purchasers. And so they're like, okay, Sterling, it's great to see you. I need 1 blue suit. I need 3 shirts. I need 2 pants. I need 1 jean, and I need 1 polo. And I come in, I'm like, well, what do you need me here for if you already knew what you wanted? With women, we buy what we like, and we love to see different ways to wear it. And I have been purposefully creating clothing for myself that I can show how women to wear socially. So my velvet blazers with my black leather shorts, my white jacket with my jeans, I started making wedding suits for women because that is something super trending right now is at the rehearsal dinner, a woman in an all white suit that's just extremely flattering and powerful. And and then on top of that, my tuxedos for women. I had so many of my guy clients call me and be like, I need to get my wife one of those women's tuxedos. That was the best thing I've ever seen on my LinkedIn scrolling today. I'm like, I know, it's amazing. Wow. But there's something that is, the pandemic caused people to appreciate quality. I believe anyways, at least it's shown that in my business, be more willing to invest in a person with a service versus like shopping. I know that I won't go to a shopping mall. Like I love clothing and I refuse to go into a department store. And when I find something I like, I just use that as my kind of motivation and I make it for myself or my inspiration. And I make it the best way I can that I can share with other people. So yes, working with women is amazing.
The last couple times I've been to a shopping mall, it sucked. It really was bad.
Horrible.
It's getting so bad. It's just brutal.
It's brutal. There's nothing in people. And I feel like maybe this is a mindset thing for me, but I feel like customer service has dwindled so much where I was like ambassador level with the Nordstrom cart. And I would walk in and I felt like they rolled the red carpet out for me. Mm-hmm. I had my personal shopping person have my dressing room filled with clothing now. And there's not the same level of customer service these days. And so when you find someone like myself or, I just bought this house. And so when I find you find your people and you attach to them and you become extremely loyal.
Right.
And most of my clients get everything from me, from their casual wear. I sell bathing suits and undershirts and underwear. I sell everything, luggage. So they like having one person, both men and women, to come to for all their needs.
Yeah, that's super cool. So I know we're pushing up on time, and I know you're a busy woman with a tight schedule. So want to be respectful of that, but I also want to get to the final question. Before we do, tell us a little bit about Tom James, just the history, and a little bit more about what all they do.
Okay. So for those who don't know, and they've probably heard the name through passing because we have been around for 50 plus years. We were founded in 1966 in Nashville out of a single store. I always like to tell the story. My founder of the company passed in 2017, but he was an extreme businessman. He was extremely wealthy. He just had this great business mentality. He was successful at almost everything he did. And Tom James is part of the Southwestern companies, which a lot of people are familiar with. But he was going to start a new business, and he was either going to be custom clothing that came to you, or it was going to be like frozen food delivery, like Sean Man. And I'm like, thank goodness he went the clothing route. But he started the company under extreme principles. We've got amazing foundations for our company, and we always say we're principally based. And kind of our model of our company is we build people, and the people build the business. And so really, really big on personal development. But we are headquartered in Nashville, as I said. We manufacture in the States, and we're also the only vertically integrated custom clothing company in the world that operates at the level that we do. So that's one of my key takeaway points too, or whenever I meet someone new, is I'm like, we don't have the supply chain issue that a lot of other retailers are dealing with because we own the whole process and we manufacture here.
Wow.
And so we have about 500 sales reps all over the world. We're in London, Australia, Germany. We had one in Abu Dhabi, but I don't think anymore. So we're global. And before the pandemic, we were a $500 million company, and we are outpacing that this year. We will outpace that this year. So the pandemic was something that it was so hard whenever we were going through it, but our company has come out way ahead, and it's been amazing to see the trajectory, the growth, our stock prices booming, and the way our company really took care of us and supported us throughout the entire time. But
That's awesome.
So we help men and women on everything from suits all the way to casual wear and kind of everything in between.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. So if y'all aren't following Sterling, she's on LinkedIn, Sterling Woerner, Woerner, on Instagram at Sterling Sells Suits. Got to go follow her. She shared some huge wisdom on this show. So if you haven't been exposed to any of this, or if you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe, keep her in mind, reach out to her, go back and listen to this episode. Tons of tips for you to build your wardrobe out. Sterling, one of the things I always love to ask our guests, and it's one of the reasons I started Go Lead Everything, was I had this perspective I got from Gary Vaynerchuk. You may know Gary.
Of course, yeah.
He's not wearing suits, but
doesn't mean he shouldn't.
Right. He shares this perspective just about how you might have like one picture of your great grandpa or something like that, and wouldn't it be cool if you had a library of videos or of interviews that your grandpa did with cool people from hundreds of years ago, or your great grandpa or whoever. And so it kind of opened my mind to I could sit down and do this podcast And my great grandchildren might be seeing their great grandpa talking to their great aunt Sterling or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great. You don't know who's going to see it down the road, right? So knowing that and understanding how fast the world's changing, fashion's always changing. What do you want to leave with the future generations today?
I think there are some simple truths that we can hold as fact and hold as carry into the generations after us. And that the number one thing is people remember you. Your first impression is everything. Your first impression opens up so many doors for you down the way. And people are watching and they are listening. And so I always lead with kind of my best. If today's my last day and I want to be remembered and I want to be, known for something, what will that be? Well, I want to be known for how I carry myself, how my appearance is, how I make people feel, things like that. And luckily dress and clothing is a part of that. And I get to kind of incorporate that into my daily life and in the lives of all my clients.
I love it. It's important, and people maybe don't prioritize it like they should or could. And, it's something that I think if you really want to go lead everything, and if you're part of the GLE network listening right now and you haven't really put a lot of thought into your appearance and how you present yourself as you carry yourself around, as you work on your personal brand on social media, these things really matter. And like you said, the first impression matters most, because people pass that judgment and decide what they think of you in literally microseconds after meeting you, based on how you look and how you carry yourself. And so
absolutely
great advice, Sterling.
Well, I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah, ask away.
So we just talked about how you're about 10 pounds above your goal weight. I think what would be a really cool follow-up to this podcast would be, we should make you something. I should come over, get you measured. We can maybe do a couple snippets and film it. And then the people can see, the GLE network can see the benefit of going custom for the first time.
I like it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Okay, cool.
I've been talking to my wife about it, so we'll
let's get her to measure up too. Stretch blazers and jeans.
There you go. And I promise, if you do the follow-up, next time I won't wear gym shorts.
It's okay. I don't want to show you my gym shorts I'm wearing right now too.
Oh, jeez. Well, thank you, Sterling, for coming on. We'll have to set it up. Look forward to doing it. And thank you for making time for this and sharing your wisdom with the GLE network.
Perfect.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, if you're listening out there, have a great day and go lead everything.